Alright, let's see if our character has survived.
Ah, children's drawings. Look at the
A bit
good
of
we're
levity
doing.
in this very depressing world.
Goddamn propaganda. Glad you're awake.
Hey, you're awake.
So you take
Basically.
more punishment than a man could live through. Come on outside when you're ready. I'll show you around.
I'm outside. No, I love
You're
that.
talking about Haze in the previous part. This kind of reminds me of the sequence where a character gets, saved by Merino.
I'll give them credit. Thank goodness they included subtitles.
Oh, that soccer table has seen better days.
I think that's a foosball table, actually.
I don't know what's the English exact term. In my country, it has a completely different name, but I think it's untranslatable.
Fair enough.
Welcome to,
Come on.
well, a small angle of paradise, or at least what passes by.
Welcome to your new home. It's our little piece of America.
It's not much, but it's, acceptable.
Welcome to a new way of life, soldier.
From the outside, it's just more boarded up suburban failure. But inside, we built ourselves a safe haven.
A place where we
And
can...
thanks to those drapes on the up, even the airplanes do not notice. Yeah. Surprisingly.
Amazingly.
Still, we've got to be careful.
Yeah.
Especially now. Got it. Get around on the radio.
So, this kind of feels like an apocalypse story, only instead of zombies, it's North Korea
It's
we're
war.
dealing with. Yeah.
It's because of war.
Water collections over
War
there.
is hell.
Basically.
Just enough power to get by.
You know, considering how famous he is to that line, it's almost interesting that we've never seen Jim Carrey in one of those war setting kind of things.
Hi there.
Hey.
When it comes to his serious roles, it's more psychological character dramas rather
Yeah,
than
like number 23.
Or the Truman Show.
Yeah. Or Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind.
This means we're set to go, right? I'm damn tired of sitting here. We got a short window to
Again, Connery is very hot-headed.
It's my call. We do this right and we won't lose anybody else. Hopper will be checking in any minute. We'll meet you at the tunnel.
Those bastards are gonna get what's coming to them.
Connor's a good man to have in a fight. Look around if you like. I'll meet you out
I
back.
know he just basically passively said, but he's kind of shit at just leaving.
Appreciate what you did for us back there.
Do it
Well,
for
the
the
Lisa.
children. Oh,
So yeah,
newspaper.
for this next sequence, don't worry again about this. For this next sequence, we essentially explore these these quote unquote, angle of heaven, and just talk a bit with the locals, before actually embarking on the next mission. Because again, our protagonist, being decently a skilled soldier and also a pilot to boot, is very precious as a resource, especially in times like these. But yeah, again, these collectibles just serves also to explain a bit more about the state of the world. It goes even more. Okay, it almost veers into, the kind of effect of stuff that happens on the side, but it makes it more of a potentially more interesting story that you wish the product was telling. It's almost kind of like in this, because this game is about, North Korea invading the United States, of course, but it talks about all of the other shit that happened in the rest of the world, like the bird flu, that infected the rest of the world, Russia and Europe potentially also collapsing, also China. So, and yet we don't really see that happening here. I wonder if they wanted potentially to expand that also in a sequel, but unfortunately we don't really see that now.
Again, this
here.
is kind of the problem I have with a lot of these stories. I like to go about the world is so different. They tell about how it's changed. and then they show little to nothing of it.
To give credit from what a little I've seen, a lot of Call of Duty stories actually have you in-universe travel around the world because of the conflicts. So, at the very least, they seem to at least get an idea on how to actually showcase exactly what you said, Joe.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, for as much as I clown on Call of Duty for all the rightful reasons, I won't deny that they do have their fair share of actually good and solid story campaigns.
Again, I'll still need to do more research on that anyway. Alright, let's talk a bit with locals.
Korean patrols. So, we got some time. You might introduce yourself around. I'll meet you on other
So, Robert Jacobs, what is our player protagonist like?
He sadly never speaks.
Oh, so he's mute.
It's like yet another case of silent, stern protagonist, but yet he manages to be so likable.
Alright, my headcanon is that all silent player characters in these games, there is actually Red having a nightmare.
Again, it's so baffling that it took. What are you doing? Okay, I get it that it's a particular procedure that you need, something like, say, tinting something, dyeing something, but I don't know exactly. But, and there you go, this is also how I produce electricity and water. But, again, it baffles me that it took so long for someone to actually do a right version of a silent protagonist with id Software in Doom 2016. Where the Doom Slayer never says a single line, and yet, thanks to his actions, even for how small that they might be, they can tell a lot of his personality and how he relates to the people around him. Like,
Indeed.
How mind-blowing.
Like, I get it. The idea of a silent protagonist is that it feels like it's you in there. Except it doesn't really feel... Oh, okay. I'm not saying that this is impossible to do, but it doesn't feel the best. Like, let's compare this...
It was... Sorry, go on.
Like, okay, you know what? Sometimes just having the character that you're in the shoes of speak actually does help. Look at Ace Attorney for about here and there. Yeah, you are technically playing as an actual official character, so maybe you can't project yourself onto them as well, but they do a great job of putting you in their shoes, literally to the point where investigations are done first-person view from their perspective to make you feel that you are them, staring literal dangers down the face sometimes, which I feel really helps get them connected. It also helps that, again, while you're playing as the player characters, while they have their own important arcs here and there are other characters that you could argue are the star of the show. Like, classically, a lot of people have made bouts saying that Edgeworth is technically, in a lot of ways, the star of the first Ace Attorney game, because, while yes, Phoenix does have a lot to do with it, you are seeing more so Edgeworth's development here and there. Similar stuff with trials and
Alright,
tribulations.
I'll elaborate more during the next section of just shooting. For the time being, we have to go.
About time.
Listen, we could use your help. We're down a few men.
Just a few men?
Alright, silent protagonist. We're not sure exactly all the stuff you can do, but we're gonna assume that you're the best.
Oi.
That's left.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I guess to be fair, an idea that they're just really low on folk and personnel, I guess I could get that.
Also, guess what, gameplay-wise? This is yet another game where you only have 2 weapons at a time and regenerating health. Not gonna lie, if before it was just annoying, now I'm getting really sick of this shit.
Okay, look, this made sense back when this genre was relatively new, but
not even that genre. It makes sense for the multiplayer because it needs to be balanced in this specific way. That is perfectly understandable. But if you want to make a campaign, I'm sorry. Make a fucking weapon wheel.
It's weird.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of FPSs. I haven't played them, but I've seen a couple of other FPSs that do this whole 2-weapon only thing. And that can really be detrimental. Have you played GoldenEye Rogue Agent?
Not just that, even Duke Nukem Forever was not safe from this, and that barely had a multiplayer.
I know, right?
Any of you guys played Rogue Agent?
I think Waves, you are the only one who played, you know, the
Yeah,
007
I
game
have
that
not
much.
played that game, I'm afraid.
I mean, it has a okay, I haven't played. I don't remember playing a whole lot of it, but if at all. But it does have a pretty interesting premise. You basically play as a Bond villain, and you team up with basically one set of villains from the series going up against another. Like, it's basically evil MI6. Your leader is Goldfinger, and your Q is Scaramanga.
Anyway, with this also get us introduced one other party member, Hopper, which is played by Joe De La Fuente, another TV actor. You know, I don't think he has done any video games outside of this.
I love how thematically we go from the golden and luscious and happy-go-lucky, sunny lit safe haven, but when we come out, suddenly it's dark, stormy, and evil.
These sentries have a 20mm autocannon like KU band radar. The fire control systems
shut up. Jacobs, just throw a grenade at the back of the thing.
We've got to make our way up the street.
To continue, okay, first of all, this is a bit of a stealth mission where you're supposed to actually circumvent that droning turret we see in the previous part, you know, circumvent it and actually either, I forgot if you're supposed to shoot it or just, you know, rip its fuse box, but anyway, you're supposed to actually, you know, destroy it by circling around it. Anyway, again, to continue, design protagonist works better if it's a story where everyone else, you know, where are their action that speaks for them, you know. Again, there is a perfectly example of both cases, a silent protagonist where it was needed and then a voice protagonist in recent From Software material, because for the Dark Souls series, your character is basically a blank slate, even in universe, you know, and basically, you know, it's more of their actions that speaks for them, you know. If you decide to attack an NPC or something, or if you decide to lead yourself with a covenant and everything. But instead, when Hidetaka Miyazaki had to make Sekiro, you know, because it's a story that, you know, involves a predefined character with a backstory and everything, Wolf had to speak. He could not be a silent protagonist. It made sense to abandon that kind of trend. But when Elden Ring showed up again, since it was basically the same thought process as Dark Souls, it made sense to go back to that formula. You know, it's not necessarily about not having it in the first place, but if the setting and the gameplay actually justifies having that. And unfortunately, a lot of FPSs like this one or Singularity do not. Alright, for this next beat, we're gonna have to ambush a squad of North Koreans.
Wait, that voice actor sounds familiar.
I can tell you, like I mentioned, well, okay, which character you were very specifically?
I missed his name on the thing, but he was basically talking about something hours.
I think it was Boom voice actor Jim R. Coleman.
No, I've definitely heard that name from somewhere, but I can't remember. Jim R. Coleman.
Again, he was mostly a movie, some video games, and TV actor. He was an extra, which I don't think he even said a line in the first Ant-Man movie, for example.
Wait.
But I can't see anything particular that I recognize. Like, sporadically appearing in popular series like ER or Law and Order, that's a thing, you know. Oh, okay, wait a minute, I recognize this. It was in Transporter Extreme in 2005.
That may be where I've heard him from.
The one with Jason Statham.
Yeah, that might be where I heard him from.
But anyway, I kind of like the fact that for this ambush they ask you to specifically, you know, kill the squad lead, the enemy squad leader, because otherwise, you know, the enemy will be too organized and, you know, overwhelm you. But instead, because of this, you manage to actually, you know, get the better of them. That's pretty neat. When it comes to actual weapon variety, there is sadly not much. You have your standard pistol, standard, you know, assault rifle, standard, you know, sniper rifle. Then I think a a shotgun and you know, a rocket launcher. Very basic stuff.
Are there like any... Okay, does it have the usual... These two weapons are obviously the ones you always want to have bouts? Or does it at least mix things up
again,
enough?
You want to have at least any kind of... You want to have one assault rifle of any kind. They kind of pull a bit like Uncharted and have different variations of the same weapon, just with different flavors, but they pretty much play all the same.
I see.
When it comes to their variety.
Is there any weapon that's like borderline useless or you want to avoid?
Your pistol, really.
Ouch.
Like, in a lot of games, sadly, the starting pistol is useful for, you know, for just defend yourself, but you get better stuff immediately. I rarely see cases where it manages to, you know, be important from start to finish.
I see.
But yeah, now we need to get our supplies that are, you know, stashed inside this abandoned school.
It's us. Don't shoot.
You okay?
I'm fine. Just a little winded.
Unfortunately, there you go. Boone was shot in the leg, so he will not be able to accompany us for the time being, but he will be fine.
No, they didn't. It's white phosphorus. I sweetened
Oh boy, this is Java.
Yes.
Since you're making everything, can you tell us what white phosphorus does?
That's a lot of blood.
Oh. Wait. White phosphorus, you say?
As a weapon, yes.
Yeah, that can burn up stuff pretty good.
And it's not something that you can just extinguish with a drop of water, trust me.
Yeah,
this is
chemical...
Again, it's an extreme measure, yes, but it's still a very lethal weapon.
Yeah, pretty much think of it like chemical warfare, and it can really cause some serious chemical burns
And I'm
as
jumping
well.
on it.
I'm sure you'll be fine, Richard. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Why are you jumping on it?
That said, why are those guys... That said, why are those guys sitting on it near? Like, I get that he needs to find a place to sit, but... Dude, maybe you might want to step away from the incredibly...
No, those are our kind of supplies. We need to actually, you know, take them and actually use them. The resistance is that desperate, they're actually going to use white phosphorus against the North Koreans.
I was talking about Boone, who was literally sitting on the seat of the van, which is surrounded by a pile of the white phosphorus on the floor. Like, that
goody, more reinforcements.
That seems like you're kind of just inviting disaster to potentially occur upon you, my dude. But yes, take your pick of the assault rifles, of course, sniper, machine gun.
Again, like you said, the assault rifles work pretty much all the same. The only thing that really changes is maybe the maximum amount of ammunitions, you know, or how much a single clip can hold. But again, it's really relevant. Even the type of scope that you get is basically the same, just in a different flavor. What we need to do now instead is infiltrate one of their quote-unquote educational camp, you know, and get some information from a contact they have inside.
You call this lightly guarded? Stick to the plan.
Shit.
Why do I get the feeling that there's a mole in our group?
We just started with it, will be a bit weird.
Well,
it's going to be one revealed later on, and it's like that the reason he gives is, actually, you know what? Fuck America, North Korea is better.
It's kind of like in it's kind of like in Gears of War. It really would not make much sense for one of the resistance members to actually, you know, sign with North Koreans. But even for a case of, oh, they promised us food or something, no.
I don't know, Ted, just you wait. I wouldn't put it past the Coalition to do something like that in Gear 6.
Okay, to be fair, that's the Coalition. Under them, Gears of War does not seem to follow logic.
Okay, I will take the half full of a glass and say that at the very least we had the restraint to not do it until now.
Thank goodness.
I guess kudos to small for small favors, I guess.
Considering you don't have much expectancies, yeah.
Honestly, is it even worth expecting a new Gears of War game at this point? They've gone all but radio silent ever since Gears of War 5.
They did mention that they're gonna use Unreal 5 for it, so they were just waiting until it was gonna be more...
Apparently the Coalition's working on both Gear 6 and a new IP, which, again... Alright, finally something, like, now how about you let 343 maybe make a new IP? Who knows, maybe the Coalition will now finally get to make Shang heists. which was the game they were making before Phil Spencer turned them into the Gear Studio.
Anyway, the enemy also has raised another one of those turrets, so we cannot just charging as blazing. Also, yes, even the enemy has a lot of, repeated one-liners. Sorry, I think my got fucked up a bit.
I was about to say, for a moment I thought, did the game freeze for a bit?
Yeah, no, it was my recording equipment.
Okay. Yeah, technically speaking, how is this game in terms of, how well it holds together?
In terms of performance, I can tell you, it's stable 30 FPS. I rarely found, a slowdown, so there is that,
Okay.
So commendable at least on that. And I haven't seen much texture popping, so at least it seems to be competently made on that front.
From what you told me, while it does sound like a flawed development, it doesn't sound like it was as strenuous a development as, say, what Singularity had to go through.
Well, let me use this time to read it, because let me quote the Wikipedia page. Homefront's gameplay has been completely worked from its origins in Frontline Fuel of War, focusing on a more cinematic, character-driven experience. David Votipka, the design director of Homefront, said that the gameplay will be based around guerrilla tactics. Style tactics will be inspired by Half-Life 2. Yeah, I can see some similarities. The same interview asserted the surroundings were designed to establish a connection with the user by using real companies and brands, as why the product placement. The executive producer of the PC version of the game, Frank DeLise, stated before the release of the PC version of the game will feature exclusive content, dedicated servers, but it's mostly just for the multiplayer, no real single-player add-on. Additional exclusive features include clan support, DirectX 11 graphics, and first-person vehicle cockpits. The antagonists in Homefront were originally intended to be communist Chinese, but were replaced by unified Korea for two reasons. The risk of a possible backlash by the Chinese Ministry of Culture and the reality of economic interdependence between America and China that made the Chinese, quote-unquote, not that scary, according to Tai Kim, a former CIA field agent and consultant on the game's backstory. Kim said, "We went through a very rigorous academic research process to make sure not to look at North Korea's current state, but look at historical examples how things will parallel and turn events. History repeats itself. From today to the day of invasion starts in the game, we combine everything. The odds are very slim this becomes true." Fuck. But when you look at the storyline step by step, every step is a coin flip of a plausible step. So once you get there, it's plausible. And from there, the next step is plausible as well. Even though the whole thing is fictional, it comes with plausible baby steps. While the story was billed as being written by John Milus, Gamasutra reported most former employees credit Chaos writer C.J. Kirshner with Homefront script, claiming that Milus wrote not a single word, however consulted with Chaos in the writing and direction of the story. For the record, that writer that I mentioned is the one that John Milus is the one that handled Red Dawn.
Oh my. So
anyway,
yeah.
Now we're about to enter the camp, which means we're actually gonna have to drop our hopper. Thank you.
That was weird.
Which means we're gonna have to drop our weapons for it.
Hold up a sec. Sounds like the plan's working. They're sending out a response team.
I hate this place. People in here used to be doctors and lawyers. Now they're working the shale mines. Last time I was here, I saw my fucking dentist.
Coast should be clear by now.
Okay.
Alright then.
Now, one thing surprising me so far about this game it's a PS3 game made by a third party, and there's very little bloom.
That is true. Well, this was done in 2011, so it's was a bit more, advanced. There's not even that much brown actually as well. As you can see, there's a bit more, influence on the grays and blues. All right, now we basically need to just, move along inside the camp.
Fuck. Arnie's in the back. Across the street, over the scaffold.
Okay, thanks.
You assholes get caught. I've never seen you before.
Yeah, let me talk about the music in the meantime. The composer is called Matthew Harwood. I don't think I've heard of this guy. Let me check what he's credited by on IMDb. Okay. Wait, he was the composer for Alien Hominid? I forgot.
What's that?
Classic 2D game from on the PS2. He composed also for Battle Block Theater, done by the same developers as Alien Hominid. Surprisingly, it wasn't a composer for Castle Crushers. The video game version of Infinite Crisis, and a video game called Runner 3 in 2018, which I haven't heard about it. Oh, actually, it's part of a Beat Trip Runner series, okay. But yeah, the score is fine, a bit forgettable, but they try to give it a bit of personality by using a lot of guitar, you know. Especially because the story is set, as you can see, in Montrose, Colorado, you know, for the most part. So it's around that kind of rural area. Howdy.
Talk to El Ray. That's cool. El Ray's got what you want. Hell, I even got American cigarettes.
Whoa. Yeah, we kind of made a point. I forgot if we mentioned it before or after, but we mentioned that the cigarettes of the North Korea produces are basically shit.
Welcome to the Korean vision of America, Jacobs. That look like recovery to you?
I cannot answer.
It's hard to tell from this angle. I just see people walking around in there.
Well, it's still a very kind of a shithole.
Yeah.
Howdy.
You guys are part of the resistance, aren't you?
Shut up, Steve. Jesus.
What?
I'm sorry, sir. Just ignore my idiot friend. We don't want any trouble.
Get that Korean piece of shit away from me. I'm an American. I was born in Oakland, asshole. I don't give a rat's ass where you're from.
Yeah, that's the thing about Hopper.
He's racist.
No, actually, no. The guys are racist against the other guys, not on the team, but the others are racist against him because he's also of descendant of Asia, of Central Asian ethnicity.
Do you have any food? I'm so hungry. Please.
Beat it,
I haven't eaten for days. I'll take anything you.
I don't know who this child is voiced by. Surprisingly fine enough. There are a lot of uncredited voice actors who do that, so it might be one of these. I can't recognize pretty much any of these. They really did not go for the the usual suspects when it comes to voice acting.
Again, I wonder, was that them trying to be unique,
Ow.
or them trying to save on the budget?
Connor, for fuck's sake.
Hey, Connor, relax.
Honestly,
There you go, we found our contact, Arnie, which is voiced by Scott Sowers.
You know, the administrative buildings.
No,
Let me see.
they keep the buses. The track and field have to be nearby.
Yeah, I can get you in.
Oh,
You have to
fuck, he
stick
died in
close, exactly
2018.
like I say.
He's an actor from... He was born in the 60s. He was mostly a TV actor himself. Let me see, I can't remember. He was in a lot of Law and Order episodes as extras.
I hope so. I gotta teach
But I
these
can't
guys
really
how to
recognize any...
grow in a place like
Okay, I think it's...
You ought to teach her to shoot. Women got just as much to fight.
Oh, I think it was in one of the old Steven Seagal movies called like Under Siege 2.
Oh, he was in those.
I thought there'd be
Well, probably in the beginning of his career. But again, this is surprising. This game is chock full of these TV actors who had a career that is plenty. But I cannot really find many information of relatively known stuff outside of the thing that every one of these seems to have in common is that they basically passed through Law and Order in some capacity as extras. But to be fair, Law and Order is such a gigantic franchise that pretty much everyone has passed through it at some point. So I don't know.
Make a lot of Law and Orders.
Well, even in general, there's not just, for example, a branch like the UK version.
Yeah, I was also going to say, I wonder how many actors from the UK version ended up doing video games.
I don't know. You were asking in another playthrough, I forgot which specific one, Dwebs, if if the UK version got broadcasted somewhere else. My country actually did.
What the hell is this?
Sorry?
In case you didn't need to know, my country actually does broadcast the UK version of the order occasionally.
Don't worry about it.
Dubbed in Italian, I guess.
Yes, all TV series are dubbed in my country. Anyway, time for... fuck!
Wow! Congrats,
At least
Dribs.
it wasn't from our team at the very least. It was our contact. Yes.
And for his troubles, he gets killed.
Gets shot. Well, he kind of deserved it. Sorry.
Connor.
Arnie.
Oh.
He was basically our contact, which instead sold us to the North Koreans. But
I told you there was a mole.
But yeah, but not in our team. So Hopper, Connor, Rihanna, they're all safe. This section can be particularly slightly nasty because you have enemies, a lot of enemies coming from all over the place. So you need to be very methodical in actually just, dispatching one by one all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying. Basically, there are two machine gunners like on the bottom floor, and you need to actually reach them from the top. Problem is that again, there are just so many enemies in this particular section.
I'll say.
Well, if the other enemies...
Dude!
You know those enemies who try and throw...
Okay, stop.
You know those enemies who try and throw grenades at you?
Yeah.
I love the ones where you shoot them, they end up dropping the grenades and blow themselves up.
Ever since the PS2 era, at the very least, it has been, a staple gimmick that actually rewards the player for, thinking a bit creatively. Or you can do it like Resident Evil 4 and shoot the fucking dynamite, on their hands.
That comes in hand.
Well, not really, because it explodes.
Well, it's handy for you, not for them.
Yeah, it blows their hand off.
Yes, Hopper, I'm getting there. There you go, there's one of them.
Yeah, we're not gonna have machine gunners. Should we fire on the guy doing it?
They're too busy because the machine gunners are actually occupying both Hopper and Connor. So basically, we're basically splitting, so they're attacking them on both sides. And here's two.
I see Connor likes the potty mouth maneuver.
Yeah, like I said, hot-headed. Obey, surf.
Tim, you mentioned Red Dawn in the last part. Have you seen his remake?
No, I've been told it's not that great.
We found the beacons. Then let's get the hell out of here. Brianna, we got him.
The beacons are the thing that we need for the white phosphorus.
We'll cut across the baseball field and go through the Elm Street drainage ditch. Come on, it's just up ahead.
Hang on to those beacons, Jacobs. The fuel tankers are only going to be in town for a couple of hours. We're going to tag them before they leave Montrose, grab a helicopter, and chase them.
Sounds simple enough. Fortunately, now we're about to see more horrors of the war, I think. Hopper! Jesus Christ, you're like O'Neill in Aliens Colonial Marines. Yeah, I think it's about now. A mass grave.
What?
We should turn back.
Thrown into a pit like garbage. How many people are in this ditch? You sons of bitches. Scumbag motherfuckers.
The corner, that's a bad idea.
Oh no!
You think you can just throw us in a goddamn ditch? Sentries, stay behind.
Shit!
Connor's lost it, man. We gotta take out those sentries.
Can you shoot Connor before he gets us killed?
No.
You sons of bitches. We gotta make our way around the field. Get close enough to those towers to toss a grenade.
To be fair, I can understand his reaction. Again, despite him being a hot-headed and everything, it's still a very shocking, sight for the mass grave. With the music playing up as well. Anyway, I checked a bit with what you were saying because, again, like I said, I only have heard of it. Apparently, the Red Dawn 2012 movie stars Chris Hemsworth in a leading role. I didn't know that. He really does not look the part of a rebel leader.
I've heard some... Yeah, basically, I've heard the Red Dawn remake is just really shit.
Yeah, 14%. Man, that's not good.
Who made it?
Dan Bradley.
Oh, I recognize that name. He's mainly been a second unit director and stunt coordinator on films like Independence Day, Spider-Man 2 and 3, some of the Bourne movies, and so on.
But this seems to be the only movie that he directed. Okay, no. There is an upcoming movie supposed to be directing called Hellfield, but we don't know anything about it. With the screenplay done by Carl Ellsworth and Jeremy Passmore. I don't know much about this. No, again, I'd say if you want to look at Red Dawn, just stick with the original. A good social commentary about North Korea. Right. Now what we need to do is actually to circle around the sentries and actually, destroy them from the back, while also killing every soldier that you find on the way. Yeah, that happened too.
Really, the only noteworthy thing about the 2012 Red Dawn remake, other than its badness, was that, you know how films get banned in China for offending the government?
Yeah. Yeah, they changed. In that too, they were supposed to be against the Chinese, but they changed that to North Korea because of this exact same reason of this game.
Yeah, they did it to try and avoid it being a box office bomb, and
it still did. Actually, I haven't checked the budget recouping ratio.
Hell, the kicker, the film did so badly in America, it didn't even get a Chinese release.
There you go. 65 million budget, 50.9 million recouping. Yeah, no.
Oh, they actually filmed that movie, as being against the Chinese, but it was in post-production that they changed it to North Korea. Like they digitally altered anything Chinese related to being North Korean related, and made additional scenes.
Yeah, reshootings and everything.
That'd be like if you made a Terminator movie, but had it initially be the main protagonist against the humans, but against other humans who betrayed them. But then in post-production, try and pull a Carmageddon and change them to zombies in post-production.
Yeah. Come on.
Mind that. Have you guys played? You guys played Carmageddon?
No, I only heard the bad things for stuff like 64. Alright.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, I am.
I guess he is.
Jacobs, you gotta see this.
Give me a second, I'm just searching the area. Damn. I'm coming.
A bit of a drug, but I've gone for worse in games.
I need to circle around. Can't jump into the dead pit.
Yeah.
Take a good hard look.
What have we become?
Jesus, Connor.
No, seriously, what have we become?
Sheep for the slaughter.
Okay, I'll give them credit. That
All
there
right,
was a big poignant moment, and they didn't do the typical thing of suddenly playing the giant swelling music or whatnot to accompany it.
Well, we did for the action against the turrets and the North Koreans, but sadly now instead we need to hide among the corpses.
Jacobs, get in! Now!
And the finger ended up on us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying. Oh, look at that! It's the general from the previous part, Colonel Young. And hey, at the very least, they do the rational thing of them speaking in North Korean instead of actually, you know, for no reason speaking in English for this section. It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's something I appreciate in these kinds
And
of
say
movies.
goodbye to Colonel Young. We never see him again.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I know, right? The game seems to be building up as the antagonist, the final boss and everything, but it disappears after this. I guess it was supposed to be like an arc villain for future titles, but no, it just disappears after this.
Nah, I swear to God. Now, if that is the reason, I'll just say what I said before. Automatically setting yourself up for a sequel, there are so many cases where that goes wrong, like hilariously wrong. And lo and behold, look at what happened with this game. Sure, some people call Revolution a sequel, apparently, from what I've gleaned, but nah, it's not really a true and proper sequel story-wise. From what you told us, Gio. So why put in what feels like blatant sequel hooks and yet never follow up on them?
Because THQ, the old THQ bombed, remember?
Oh, I know that. What I mean is like, well, okay, my point is more so on trying to, again, count the chickens before they hatch in this sort of regard here. Like, I'm not saying that nobody can ever do it, but I always do raise an eyebrow when something that doesn't have a sequel actually guaranteed does something like that.
I don't know what to tell you. For the time being, in the next part, we have to use that white phosphorus that we acquired. Yeah.
See you then.
Yeah.